And then there were two, and that's despite the odds being stacked against them. Once again, the Miami Heat are just the second 8th seed to make it to the biggest stage in the NBA and square off against the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. Welcome to NBA Today. Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, Malika Andrews here. So before we look ahead at the NBA Finals, which, by the way, I can't wait for that. I do think we need to take a look back at how we got here last night.
A lot of action.
I did not see this coming, my friends. This is not what we expected. The Heat, they scorched the Celtics last night in Game 7 in Boston, and here is how it went down. We're going to pick this one up, Richard. First possession for the Celtics, because watch Jason Tatum here. He drives, and then when he lands, he comes down on his ankle, and he just wasn't right the rest of the game.
He wasn't right, and unfortunately, he didn't get a ton of help. This is part of those things when you leave yourself for zero room for error. But look, them missing their first, 12, 13 threes last night, that wasn't all Jason Tatum. Just the Celtics didn't have the right approach.
Yeah, and he's a little hobbled on the screen there. You can see it. And Tatum said he doesn't want any excuses. He doesn't want to make any excuses for their performance last night, but you can just see that he wasn't quite right. And then the Heat, Caleb Martin was on Big Perk.
Absolutely. The second best player on the Heat, in my opinion, the best player in this Eastern Conference Finals. Look, when you talk about creating on himself, this is a guy that has the ultimate confidence right now.
And then they just kept building. Every time you thought that the Celtics were kind of going to crack back into this one, they just couldn't close the gap.
Caleb Martin was even Kevin Love's part. Caleb Martin, to me, has been the most impressive player that we weren't expecting in the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By far. You go down the teams. I don't care if it was you played 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Caleb Martin has been the story of the postseason for a non-superstar.
Duncan Robinson telling the crowd in TD Garden, let me hear it. Another thing that I didn't have on my bingo card was Jaylen Brown having 8 turnovers in this one. Jimmy Butler named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Let's take a listen to Eric Spoelstra after the game.
I think a lot of people can relate to this team because, sometimes you have to suffer, for the things that you really want. And this group has shown fortitude when there are inevitable letdowns and failures, but to have that perseverance to pick yourself up, have that collective spirit to keep on forging ahead until you get to accomplish what you want to.
I just know why Coach Pat and Coach Spo wanted me to be here, and that's to compete at a high level and to win championships. I know that the group that they put around me at all times is going to give me an opportunity to do so. So I was always very, very confident in that.
So get you a friend like Richard Jefferson who helps pick up the mic pack when we drop it. I'll give that back to Kendrick Perkins. But this is kind of wild to think about, Richard. The Heat were on the brink of elimination in the play-in tournament.
Yes.
And now here they are in the NBA Finals. What stood out?
Well, to me, as one of the few people that never doubted the Miami Heat, I just feel like, again, it's Heat culture. And we say it over and over and over again. When we say Heat culture, we don't mean their practice or their work ethic. They just have a level of determination that whether things are good, whether things are bad, whether they're the 2 seed, whether they're the 8 seed, their approach does not change. And look, I played with Alonzo Mourning. I competed against Alonzo Mourning. He embodies everything that you expect from Heat culture. D. Wade, Jimmy Butler. There's a list of guys that are like, this is how we're going to play. I don't care if it's game 1 of the season, if it's the play-in, if it's the first round or the finals. They just have a determination that is very, very tough to break.
What are we lacking in our country, Malika, RJ?
Where do I start?
Well, I'll tell you, leadership. Not the Miami Heat. They actually got great leadership. And when I think about how they got to this point, without their third best player in Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo going down, and all of a sudden you get to a game 6, okay? You get to a game 6 where Derek White hits a tip in, and all of a sudden it could demoralize and deflate your whole locker room. But when you look at the leadership from Eric Spoelstra, who's the best coach in the game, who said, we can't wait for this game, meaning we wanted to play right now after game 6. And then you look at UD, who they gave the Eastern Conference championship trophy to, and well-deserved. But it's the others, right? Kyle Lowry and Kevin Love, both champions, both got that leadership. So to have that mentality, to let go of Game 6 and what happened at home and be able to jump on the plane and go into a hostile environment for a Game 7 for young guys like Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent, Max Strus was huge. And that's a credit to the great leadership all across the board that's with the Miami. Well, Zach, you know who else don't get rattled? And you know who else don't change their identity? Me. And I spied something last night, yesterday. I'm Kendrick Perkins, better known as Big Perk, and nothing gets past me.
Freeze!
Just when you thought it did get past me, there I am. I spy a problem. I spy it all. Carry the hell on. Is this you? Is this you? Was this you yesterday? How, RJ? Roll the tape. Roll the tape. Was this you yesterday?
I look good.
No, but was
America. You can thank me later.
Did you have the audacity to have 4 buttons open on your damn shirt, them damn sunglasses and that crown, because you took a victory lap before Game 7 was even played last night and thought that you won? Look, like you were actually feeling yourself. You were feeling yourself.
I look
Forget
good.
that you put on the crown. I don't even care about that. The fact that you went and stole my iSpy glasses and the fact that I would never wear these damn things again ever in life. I would never put these on again because you put them on your crusty face.
Okay.
But then you came on here and guaranteed a victory and took a victory lap, and you know better.
All right, and look, wait. Stay up here, Perk. And since Miami did win, like, look, am I the dark-skinned pit bull? Maybe, right? Do I look that good? Yes. And so I think we have somebody else that has some receipts also, Big Perk. Bring in my guy. What's up, Lil Ralph? What's up?
I picked Miami to win.
Yes, you did.
Show, but I was right. I said Miami is my East pick, and I said it. And it's for you too, Richard. Look at this. My shirt is open.
Oh, yeah, that's my guy. Give it to the people.
Let me say this. I'm so happy because I was nervous. I'm like, man, I picked Miami. If they lose this game after like being up 3-0, I'm gonna look crazy. But they didn't because Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Clutch. He's Jimmy the man. He's Jimmy the best.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy the everything.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. I'm Perk and Richard, both of y'all. I'm sorry.
Well, Lorel, it's not hard for you to look crazy on a normal day anyway. All right?
But wait a second. Hey, Rel, since, Perk wants to bring up receipts, as Mr. Worldwide would say himself, can we roll them receipts? Can we roll some? Who did Perk pick? Who did Perk pick? Does that say the Celtics? I see Malika pick the Celtics, Perk picked the Celtics, and Zach picked the Celtics.
I said I was not confident in the pick, but I didn't rant about it. I said it in a calm voice. You went on a whole wide victory lap about you actually being right and shocking the world like you haven't been wrong this entire postseason. You lied to the people.
I've never lied. You don't look this good and lie. But wait, Rel, stop, man. I don't need you chirping.
Yeah,
I don't need Rel chirping.
sorry.
Rel,
You
thank
did.
you so much for taking your victory lap with us here on NBA Today.
Yeah.
So this year's NBA Finals matchup, it's an underdog story that's been flipped on its head because the favorites, they're the top-seeded Denver Nuggets, but they're not exactly your typical Goliath. It's the franchise's first ever time making the NBA Finals. In their 46 seasons, 94 playoff wins, both the most in NBA history prior to making the Finals. And then playing the role of David in this series, we have the Miami Heat. Despite coming off their third Eastern Conference Finals in the last 4 years, the Heat are just the second 8th seed to reach the NBA Finals. They also had the longest title odds entering the playoffs of any team to do so since the merger. But in a way, the Heat are led by underdogs, right? University of Portland's finest, Eric Spoelstra, he guided his team. He grinded from the tape room to his 6th career NBA Finals appearance. And by the way, that's a number that only 3 coaches in NBA history have eclipsed. And then there's Jimmy Butler. We all remember this from the finals in the bubble, but he continuously is overlooked, and yet he leaves it all out on the floor time and time again. So the Heat, They're going to have to beat the odds one more time to take home their 4th title in franchise history. They're currently the 3-1 underdogs. They've also lost 9 of their last 10 games against Denver. But the Nuggets, they aren't taking Miami lightly. We expect to hear from Michael Malone in just a little bit. I mentioned Jimmy, but that's not actually the matchup I want to dive into first. It is the battle of the big men. So, Perk, I'm going to start with you, our resident big man. Your first impressions of Bam versus Jokic.
Well, after seeing Bam in this series, I'm concerned, and we all should be. But
for Bam or for Denver?
Yeah, for Bam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he has to play better. But I'm looking at the team, and I'm looking at Eric Spoelstra, and I'm wondering what kind of defensive scheme is he going to try to come up with to actually just slow down Jokic and not leave Bam on the island by himself. And I'm also looking at K-Love. I'm looking to see if they could maybe stagger those minutes between him and Bam and give Bam rest, because we don't know if he's going to get in foul trouble. You can't put a smaller guy on him. So, I mean, it's a tough cover. But again, the Heat are here for a reason. Bam is on an all-defensive team, one of the top defensive bigs in the game. I expect him to accept and take on the challenge.
Zach, what do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, this has been a tough cover for Bam over the last few years. Jokic is just so big and so strong and has been able to get to his spots pretty comfortably against Bam. And every time you send help toward him, he's just picking you apart. He's maybe the best zone buster in the entire NBA, and that's a plot that looms large in this series. Perk mentioned Kevin Love. And I do wonder, would the Heat start Kevin Love again? And would they even try Love on Jokic and have Bam on Aaron Gordon? Is that kind of rover like the Lakers did? I don't think that's a great answer either, but that would let them put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray a little bit. I think we're just going to see a lot of everything because the Heat, like everyone else in the league, just haven't found an answer to Jokic.
Right.
And they don't have that big, long rim protector like Anthony Davis, like the Lakers did to put on Aaron Gordon and rove around. This is going to be a very complicated solve for Miami, and in the end, they may not have a great answer. It's going to have to make something work.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.